What's going on, family? It's your man, DeAndre Saxon, back for another video coming to you from beautiful Dubai. You already know what it is. In this video, you have been struggling on going to the next level, whether starting your business, quitting your job, making that decision to go full time in your business, something has been stopping you. And in this video, you're going to have so much more clarity over why you're starting and stopping, why you have this big vision of where you want to go in your life, but yet you're afraid to make that decision. It's like there's two different voices in your head pulling you in two different directions. Your spirit wants you to grow, but you want to stay secure. You want to know the things that are keeping you safe. And you're like, it's been pulling at you for weeks, if not months, if not for some of you, even years. And so by the end of this video, I'll give you some action steps that you can do to get through that so you can go to the next level. So that without further ado, let's hop straight into it. So what you're experiencing is something called ambivalence, okay? Ambivalence is when one person has two different emotions towards the same topic. Okay, so let me give you a perfect example. Coming to Dubai, when I've been wanting to come to Dubai for many years, but what always kept me was the spirit was always like, "Oh, DeAndre, let's go to Dubai. Let's have a big vision. Let's live our dream life." Right. So the spiritual part that wants me to grow. But then my logical mind, right, my rational mind was like, oh no, DeAndre, but the time zone differences and the clients, and you're across the world, you should save some more money, you should build a bigger business, you should do this, all these different things, right? All these different emotions. It's like I had one subject, right? Move to Dubai. But I had two different emotions going towards that. One saying go, one saying stay. And you're like back and forth and back and forth. And as soon as you start moving in that direction, it's like something wants to pull you back, whether it's another person or your fear or what's going on, right? So you might be experiencing that in something in your life right now. Like I was in the DMs and this lady was talking about how she wants to quit her corporate job. She earns six figures and she wants to go full time in her coaching business, but she's afraid. She's like, "Oh my gosh, clients already want to work with me, but I don't know what to do. Should I go full time?" Right. She was like getting upset, and that's a perfect example of something we like to call the terror barrier. What you've been experiencing, the reason you've been afraid to go all in for your vision, to go all in on your goals is because of something called the terror barrier. So let's go ahead and break this down, okay? By the end of it, you're going to love it. So let's lock in. So right here at the top, this is what we call the stick figure. So if you're watching me for the first time here, we've talked about this many times. So this will start at the top left here. This here represents your mind, right? So this top part, that's your conscious mind. The bottom part's your subconscious mind, and this very small one here is your body. So your conscious mind, that's your thinking mind. It's your intellectual mind. It's the mind you use to create, imagination. You memorize things, regurgitate it, and take a test. But that doesn't mean you're actually going to do it, right? Because to know something and to actually do it is two separate things. It's called a gap. And that gap is worth a lot of money to a lot of you guys, which is what we're going to close today in this video. So then that's the conscious mind. Then we have the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls 95% of your results. It controls your habits. It controls your emotions. So really, that's the part of you that actually controlling the things coming in and out of your life. And then finally, we have the body. The body, that's just a physical instrument of the mind. You cannot do something outside of what you're thinking inside your conscious mind, right? So that's just a brief summary. We've talked about it multiple times, but I just wanted to give you a little update on that. So think about this. So let's just say you have an X-type frequency in your conscious mind. You have an X-type thinking in your subconscious mind and an X-type frequency in your body. What kind of results are you going to get in your life? Well, X type results, meaning whatever X is for you, 10,000 a month, quit your job, go full time, wherever it is you're at right now. Everything in your life that you've attracted is based on the frequency of thought that you've accumulated. We've discussed this before. So what that means is that you have X type thinking in the conscious, X type in the subconscious, and X type in the body, which means you have X type results. Okay, clear. X is where your current life is. But what's happening is that's called bondage. That's your comfort zone. You know everything. You know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know how much you're going to get paid. You know everything about what's going on in your life. Human beings have anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. So what does that tell us? That tells us that tomorrow's going to look like today because of your thinking patterns, because you are operating in an X-type vibration in this example. That means that you are inside your comfort zone. So that's what we call as bondage. You're stuck. Some people stuck as 5,000 a month. Some people as 5,000 a day. It's irrelevant. It's wherever you're defining and wherever you're stuck at in on your mind. So what happens then is you're going to start moving into reason, which is phase number 2. Reason is you are going to entertain an outside idea. So in this example, it's going to be this why here. You're entertaining a bigger version of yourself. You're entertaining what it could look like if you move to that city, quit your job, start that business, go all in on that dream that you have. But you're just entertaining it, right? It's just mental play. So what's happening is you're using your imagination to create a vision of what it could look like if you were to go all in. Oh man, if I quit my job and went all in on my business, I already have clients lined up. Maybe it could work out. Maybe it could have freedom. Maybe it could have more purpose in my life, right? Whatever this is, you create some mental story of what it could look like if your imagination was to come to pass. But the issue is we haven't moved it to the subconscious mind. As you see here in this example, we are entertaining this idea with our conscious mind, with our imagination. So this why idea, this green right here, but we haven't passed it to the subconscious mind, as we know, which controls our actual actions, which controls our emotions, which controls 95% of our results. So a good example of somebody doing this is like, oh man, I would love to buy a house. Oh, I would love to buy a house. You know, that friend that keeps saying things like that, and it's like 5 years and he still hasn't bought a house. Or this person that says, I hate my job. I hate my job. And 2 years later, they're still at the job. Like, you don't even listen to him anymore, right? They have no credibility. That's a perfect example of somebody in this mental phase. They're just entertaining the idea of something different, but they're not going to take action on it. But if you're watching this video right now, it's because you're in phase number 3. This is conflict. This is where you have now taken that imagination of what this dream could look like. What would it look like if I was to quit my corporate job and go full time in my business? What would it look like if I was to, buy a house? What would it look like if I was to sell everything and move to a new city? You've taken that imagination and now you've entertained it so long that you actually start to believe it. You're actually starting to believe that it's real. So on one hand, it sounds that's good, right? You're starting to believe your imagination, but something is happening, something called ambivalence. You're having two emotions towards one subject, and that creates chaotic energy. So as you see here, what's happened now is you've taken this imagination and you've passed it to the subconscious mind. Because you've done it with repetition, you've seen the image of what that life would look like over and over and over again. You've visualized it, you've passed it, you put emotion behind it. You've now begun putting it into the subconscious mind, which is the language of the subconscious mind: repetition, emotion, and images. But what happened is you haven't taken out that old version of yourself, the one that you've been operating on for the last couple of years. And so now that subconscious mind is operating on two different thought frequencies: your old life, the life that you've known, the life that you've been accustomed to, your comfort zone. But now you're starting to entertain this idea of something in the unknown zone, this vision, this goal that you're going after. And these two ideas are occupying your subconscious mind at the same time. And as we know, if you have two frequencies operating in the same space, that creates a chaotic vibration. So that's what you're feeling right now. If you have thoughts of a dream life moving you forward, but something holding you back, that's known as anxiety in the body. Whatever's impressed on the subconscious mind must be expressed through feelings. So what you're feeling is doubt. You're starting to doubt if it's going to work out. One day you're excited. Oh my God, I'm going to go after my dream. I'm going to quit my job and go full time. I'm going to take my business to the next level. I'm going to start making content. The next day, you feel sad. You're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. You're going up, you're going down. You're going up, you're going down. You're starting to worry if it's going to come together. And then you start to feel fear, a deep sense of fear. And you don't even know where the fear is coming from. Fear and faith are the opposite of each other. You're using your imagination to create a vision of something that you don't want in the future. That's fear. Or you create the imagination of something that you do want. That's faith. Two different opposite spectrums. And in another video, we'll break down the different spectrums of positive, negative emotions and how you can actually use these to navigate the world, right? But in this one, we're going to stay focused on this feeling of going all in and why you've been afraid. So now you have two emotions, one keeping you forward, one keeping you back. And that's a chaotic vibration. And that shows up as fear, doubt, worry, and anxiety in the body. And so you're having these feelings in your body. You don't know which way to go. One moment you're excited, maybe you start moving towards that goal, or you're just afraid to actually go in. So you have a choice here. You have hit something we call the terror barrier. The terror barrier is a psychological barrier that's keeping you from your next version of yourself. The best way for me to explain it is your old self and your new self are fighting itself. The spiritual aspect of you, the spiritual God that's within you, your conscious congruency with God is moving you in a bigger direction. Spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression, meaning that the spirit that's in you, the same spirit that lives in the trees, that takes a seed and germinates it into a beautiful, a seed and turns it into a tree, that same energy lives in you. And it wants you to grow. It wants you to expand. That's why you've been stuck at the status quo and you hate the status quo. You've been hating the routine. You've been wanting to go into a new direction. So that spirit is moving you to grow. It's moving you to go to the next direction. right? That's a part of you that you can't see because that's a spiritual aspect of you. But what you can see with your eyes, see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, that's your conscious mind. That's keeping you where you're at because it's safe. It's safe to have this job. I need to have this amount of money saved. I can't move to that city because of X, Y, and Z, right? Your rational mind is actually your old self trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you in the status quo because it's the known zone. It's your comfort zone. So what's happening is you're experiencing the outside of your comfort zone. And yeah, I don't need to tell you this when you already know that there's no growth in that comfort zone. So you're hitting this wall, your old self and your new self fighting itself. So you have two options. Option number one, you're gonna stay stagnant. And that's deadly. Like you already know you've been living that probably for a couple weeks, months, if not years, and you're fed up with it and you're just tired and you've hit a wall where you're like, I cannot stay here anymore. You can't sleep at night. You're like, what is going on? So you're already past that stage. You're not staying where you're at. But what's happening is you're probably stuck bouncing off the wall. You start and then you stop. You go after it and then you don't see the resources coming together and then you quit, right? It's like putting your big toe in the pool. It's a little bit cold. You're not fully in, you're not fully out, and it's time to make a decision. Here's what's going to happen. And let me put, as a guy I might be only 28 years old, but I've experienced so many things in my life. It's been crazy. And let me tell you from personal experience, after studying this material for 5 years, that you will never have the resources in the physical world. It will never come to pass. It will come to pass when it's the perfect timing. You must first make a decision. Once you make a decision, then all the resources, the people, the situations, the circumstances, then it will appear. It is not until you've made a decision that things will come to pass because you haven't decided to go forward. So why should the resources come? It's a funny concept. That it's the first concept that Bob Proctor taught me. Because remember my story, when I started with Bob Proctor, I only had $100 in my bank account. I was sleeping in my car at that event in LA. So when Bob said, if you want to work with me, it's going to cost $30,000, I didn't even make 30,000 that year. How am I going to pay this guy 30,000 to work with him? And so he's like, DeAndre, you don't need the money until you make a decision. Once you make a decision, then all the resources will come to pass because you have matched that frequency, and all the resources, the people, and everything that you need will come to you in perfect timing. And because, as you know, I was dead broke, I didn't know what to do with my life, I listened to him. And guess what? It was the first time I experienced what he was saying. Once I made the decision, out of nowhere, the money came and I was able to start working with him. So I pass that on to you. Whatever decision that you're going to make, just know, have faith. Work, build, dream, create. Whatever you have on that other side is going to come to pass, but you're going to have to make a decision. You have to jump into the pool or get out of the pool, but stop entertaining the idea of living a future life. If you're not going to jump in, jump in. This is your sign right now to go all in. You're not going to live in fear anymore. You're not going to let the outside world comfort zone hold you back. You have a vision so much bigger that's in you. That's what's causing you to go to the next level, but you're not going to let the outside 3D world hold you back anymore. You're going to move forward. You're going to go through it with understanding. What you're gaining on this video is understanding of what's going on psychologically so that you can make action steps in your life that will take your life, your business to the next level. You're going to crash through that terror barrier by making a decision that I know I don't have the money. I know I may not have the resources. I know I may not see it, but you don't need to see it in your hand here. You need to see it in your mind, because whatever you see in your mind, you will hold in your hand. It will come to pass when you match the frequency. Make the decision, go all in on that spiritual vision you have, and it will come to pass. You'll crash through the terror barrier because everybody will always feel fear. It doesn't matter, the most successful people, they've all had this fear. That's not going to go away, but they jumped anyways. Once you jump, then the parachute will open. And trust me, it's spiritual laws. If there's a spirit in you that's causing you to grow, it will always catch you and it will always open the parachute for you. But you have to jump. You have to go all in on your vision. And trust me, it might be scary. You're out of your comfort zone, but that's where the growth is. And once you get on the other side, you're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to love everything about your life. And it's going to be a little rough. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's going to work and you're going to love it. You're going to love your life. And guess what? Then you're going to get to the next one and you're going to keep doing this over and over and over again. And the cycle repeats until you live your dream life. And even when you get to your dream life, you'll still be creating it because you're always going to want to grow and expand to the day that you die, because that's why we're here on this earth. So guys, hopefully this video helped you out on understanding what's going on in your psychological mind, of why you've been stuck, so you go to the next level. And as you guys know, if you've been stuck between 10 to 20,000 a month in your business for the last 3 months or so, I've been teaching this to my clients. I have clients at 10,000 a month up to 150,000 a month. It doesn't matter what income level. If you've been having these psychological battles in your mind, then I would like you to go ahead and check out the links in the description below. Check out the community that we have. We keep you locked in. We'll take you to the next level, because a lot of the times you already know what to do in your business. That's why you're already earning six figures. But what's happening is there's self-image problems. There's these kind of things like what you just learned, the terror barrier. It's a lot of times it's more of this what's holding you back than more ads, more funnels, more leads. It's more of this kind of stuff. Once you get your mind right, your business will take off to the next level, because it did for me. I went 0 to 100,000 a month in 45 days by literally understanding these principles after being dead broke for 5 years. So if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. Subscribe to the channel below. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care.